Hey everybody, happy Media Monday. We're going to do something different today that we don't normally do. We're just going to spend time going over a couple things that came in the mail recently. They're not gifts. These were things that we paid for. So we got two music releases. And we also want to talk a little bit about Ant-Man versus Wasp, or Ant-Man and Wasp. We went to go see that movie the other day and want to give you a little bit of feedback on it. The first thing that we want to take a look at today is this massive re-release of Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. They have a super deluxe version out. They have a ridiculous version that's like a grand that comes in a wooden case with rings and everything else. This, what we have here, is the super deluxe version, which comes, I believe this is like a leather case. As you can see on the cover, we've got, I don't know how well you can see this, but maybe with some of the reflection here, the classic cross symbol with the heads of the band members, as well on the back. You get the classic Guns N' Roses logo with the two guns and roses in the middle. Very cool. And this does have 5 discs included in it. So we're going to go through everything that's in this box. Show you a little bit of everything here. First thing that you notice, we have this awesome book. This book, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. Tab through here. You get classic photos from the Appetite for Destruction era. I'm trying to fit in the frame. And these were taken, I believe, from Ross Halfin. That's an LC picture, actually. But you also get other historical documents in here. So you have the original press release for Appetite for Destruction when it came out. Some ticket stubs, etc. Some of the flyers that were used to promote club shows. So much goodness in here. There's some more great pictures. This is great. This is a flyer from when Guns N' Roses was filming Welcome to the Jungle music video. Christmas card reproduction. Billboard magazine reproduction for Sweet Child of Mine hitting #1. Anyone remember Billboard magazine? I remember as a kid going to the store to get 45s based off of what was listed in which position. And it's kind of on and on with pictures. This is a very classic picture. And other highlights of that era in the time of Appetite for Destruction. You also have all the lyrics of the songs here. And then in the back, we have the records. I'll take one of them out to show you what they look like. This is a Blu-ray audio disc. So basically, what you're getting in this package by way of music. First CD is Appetite for Destruction Remastered. Second CD is B-Sides and EPs Remastered. So basically, if you remember, like the Lies record, as well as some additional live music in here. Sound City Session, 1986, previously unreleased. So this is the demos for all of the songs on Appetite. And you have another CD, the 86 Sound City Session and More, which includes instrumental versions of like November Rain, Move to the City, You're Crazy, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Those were all things that if you were around back in the day, and tape trading back in the day, when we lived in New York, we used to get all of these types of records in advance from people that we knew from industries or labels, and kind of listen to things way in advance of things coming out. So November Rain, if you remember, if you were alive and Guns N' Roses fan back in the day, that song floated around for quite a bit before ending up on Use Your Illusion. So you do get those 4 audio CDs, and then you also get another disc, which I just showed you was the Blu-ray audio. So it is basically 24-bit 5.1 surround sound and remastered stereo to play through your Blu-ray player. I can't wait to put that in and listen to it. And it also comes with bonus tracks. So Shadow of Your Love is kind of the big song for this record that was released as a single. And then you get the music videos that were tied to Appetite for Destruction as well, including Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, Paradise City, Patience, and It's So Easy. It's So Easy being the new released video that was kind of under wraps for so many years because it was deemed not appropriate for MTV at the time. So that is all that's in this book. But then we also get this additional folder, which is really fun, the LAPD case file that has all of the band member names attached, as well as the case number, which is really kind of a fun Easter egg because that is the actual release date for Appetite for Destruction. So let's take a peek at what's included in here. I tried shooting the video before camera down, looking at things, and it was coming out disastrous, so this is why we ended up with you guys looking at me. You get a few replica concert tickets. So if you never went to go see Guns N' Roses and you don't have your own concert tickets, you do get replicas in here. So this is a ticket back in the day. Let's see if I can focus on this. There you go. Comp ticket, so you don't get to see how much ticket prices were back then. This was a ticket for the Troubadour. Actually, this one is really great because the Troubadour out in West Hollywood, at the time of this ticket, it was $6.50, or if you had these passes, you could have gone to see Guns N' Roses at the height of them breaking for $4.50. And here's another ticket, Mobile Municipal Complex, Guns N' Roses, Everyone's Daughter, Dance, Dance, Dance. September 10th, 1987, general admission. There's another comp ticket, so no price on this. Take a look at that. Very cool. This you just get a card explaining the classic artwork that was included prior to what's come to be known as the record cover for Appetite for Destruction with the symbolic cross. There was other artwork, I know it's included in here somewhere, that was also too risque to keep out on the market. They give you a print of that here. That was the original artwork, very well known if you follow the band for years. You also get a sheet of all of the band members' tattoos. So these are temporary tattoos. And on this side, that's from Axl. You get Slash's original tattoo. I can't imagine ever using these, but they're fun collectibles. And we do get copies of flyers that were used. So here you go. Here's a replica copy of the flyer that Slash drew himself to promote the filming of Welcome to the Jungle. We get some band member lithographs, photos that were never seen before. This is from Ross Halfin. Here we have Axl, Slash, Duff, Izzy, and Steven. And then we get a poster. It's folded. Can't see myself hanging this up, but I also hate when posters are folded instead of rolled, but I can understand they need to keep this in here. This is the poster. Fit in here as best as possible. So, if you felt so inclined to hang the poster up, you'd have the very classic looking Guns N' Roses poster. And that's it for the super deluxe version of Appetite for Destruction. And I know no matter what I play from the Blu-ray, it's going to sound the same for you, but I'm going to see how it sounds, let you know. You do get a little bit of an audio visual here. Alright, we've gone through about 5 songs so far. I know we skipped way ahead here in the video. The drums pop on this 5.1 sound. I mean, it's not something that I would, necessarily tell you that you need to go spend like $100+ to go own, but the drums, and I know they completely like remixed and remastered this. It does sound a little bit flat, at least flatter than what modern music sounds like from the studio, but I'm really digging this. The demos discs are a lot of fun to listen to. I haven't heard a lot of this stuff in like 20 years, so it's worthwhile to have it on CD, but honestly, probably just gonna burn it onto my iPod. Rip, burn, rip. So you kind of get the gist with November Rain. If you've never heard this stuff before, and you are a rock fan, I think it's really worthwhile to get this. Especially if you're a Guns N' Roses fan and you never heard these demos. Alright, next up. Kind of sort of the same thing as the Guns N' Roses box. This time around, we get their metal counterpart, Metallica. This is their ridiculous box set from Master of Puppets. This is the third in the series. Metallica has released these ridiculous deluxe edition records in the past for Kill 'Em All and then Ride the Lightning. This came out almost a year ago and it sold out online before I could actually pick it up. They offered it again recently through their garage sales. If you don't follow Metallica, if you're a fan of Metallica and you're not part of the Met Club, which is free to everyone, you are really missing out online, because it gives you the ability to buy pre-sale tickets. It gives you the ability to sign up to potentially get in the snake pit at their concerts, which we did the last time that they were in town, so you could check that video out. And it also gives you the ability to buy specific merch and to know when merch is coming up for sale that you may want to buy. Things that are not generally available to the mass public. This box has 2 records, 10 CDs, it has a cassette, and it has 2 DVDs. We're going for broke here. It's like they put the kitchen sink in this whole thing. And we have a numbered edition also, so this is something that's different than the Guns N' Roses that I actually like a little bit better. This is numbered 15,728 out of 25,000. So I think what probably most likely happened is somebody went to buy this and they didn't have the funds when it came time to ship. So their loss is our gain. We're going to open this bad boy up somehow. I'm going to show you everything that's included in here because it's a monster. First up, the one cool thing that Metallica has done that Guns N' Roses has not done is include a card like this. So kind of just like a standard business card. But this has a download code that you can go to their website and download all of the media that is included in here, so you don't have to spend time ripping things, burning, ripping, burning. So to your computer, download it yourself and just sync it to your iTunes or whatever way you're listening. The first thing you get here, we're getting these little tiny mini buttons. I mean, these are really small. There's a 6-pack of buttons here. Now back in the day when this record first came out, I can tell you honestly, I don't know how many people did not have this like little Metallica Master of Puppets button. Which, by the way, unsolicited opinion, to me, Master of Puppets, second best Metallica record of all time. I still think Kill 'Em All is their best, but I really think they came into their own with Master of Puppets. So you get a couple of cool buttons there, 6 of them. I'm not sure that I'll wear them. Maybe they'll go on a denim jacket somewhere. But we get buttons. And then I have yet another copy of Master of Puppets. I don't have a record player these days, so I do need to get one. If you guys have record players and you are emphatic about any of them that are not like $500 or more, let me know in the comments below, something that I could hook up into my system already. But we have Master of Puppets here. Amazing record. Let's take a look at what comes inside here. So you kind of get the original insert. Photo, studio, lyric sheet, and a record. This is really interesting because this record was originally released on Elektra, and now this version is on Metallica Records, or Blackened Records. Blackened? Yeah, it's Blackened Records. I'm making mistakes left and right here, so you guys can bitch and moan all you want. That I'm screwing stuff up, but it's on the fly. All right, battery died. We're back. Next record that you get is Metallica live at the Aragon Ballroom, Chicago, Illinois, May 25th, 1986. This is a big one. So, in this record is actually a double record, and it contains songs all the way from Battery, Master of Puppets, all the way through the Four Horsemen, ending up with Whiplash. And this was with Cliff Burton on bass still at this time. So, really cool stuff. And then, get this awesome book, once again, like the Guns N' Roses book. These are all photos from 86 to 87. You get a foreword written by Peter Mensch from Q Prime. And we've got notes on the recording of the record. If I remember back when records first came out, the best thing about when you had a big record in your hand was being able to read all of the materials that were included inside of the record. This is kind of like a record on growth hormones. I mean, wow. I love looking at these notes. This is ridiculous. And then you get some Metallica tour stuff. You see a picture of Ozzy down below. Fun fact, I did get to see that tour, Nassau Coliseum, where they opened up for Ozzy on the Ultimate Sin Tour. And that show was filmed with the good old, Metallica used to encourage tape trading and videoing shows and things like that, which was unheard of. It's still unheard of most of the time of the day, but this is prior to YouTube or anything, back in the 80s. But they took some of that recording from Nassau, whoever recorded it at the time, and put it on the Cliff 'Em All videotape. So you got some ticket stubs here from Long Beach Arena. This is the really cool stuff to just look through. And I mean, there's at least, I would think, like about 100 pages in here or so of things to look through. So as you're listening to 10 CDs worth of Metallica music, you can completely engage in everything that's out there. So, and then towards the back, they tell you what's on all of the media that's included in the package. So you got all that good stuff. And we'll wrap up the book. We'll get to the next thing. Got this print, Damage Incorporated. Mine's a little bent on the bottom. This was probably, I would imagine, this between this, maybe Crash Course and Brain Surgery, two of the most famous Metallica prints done by Pusshead. Really cool stuff. I mean, if you were in the 80s and you didn't have a t-shirt that had this, or at least the crosses on the cover from Metallica, then I don't know what you were doing. This is a folder from Metallica with some handwritten notes on the back. But what you have inside, only reproduction signatures here. You have reproductions of handwritten lyrics for every song on Master of Puppets. So, very, very cool stuff. I love things like this. And then we dive into the records, or the CDs at least. Master of Puppets. Now, one disc is just the booklet. The other disc, or the other insert, is the actual music. And I believe all of this is remastered and remixed also. So it should sound pretty phenomenal. Next disc is interviews. So we have CD1, Metal Forces magazine interview with Lars from 1986. You have an interview with Cliff from 86. a Metal Madness magazine interview with Cliff, Metal Shop radio interview with Lars and James. Metal Shop, if this is the same Metal Shop, it was one of my favorite radio shows back in the 80s, and we had that little classic Metal Shop. Sounds Magazine interview with Kirk, Cliff, and Lars. There's another interview with Lars, and there's an interview with Lars and Jason, so it's a little bit further along into the Masters cycle in 1987. And then you have this disc, Metallica, Rough Mixes from the Vault. And this is Battery, Master of Puppets, Thing That Should Not Be. You get down to other songs with The Money Will Roll Right In after Damage Incorporated. And then the Prince included in here also. So Prince ended up as B-side, I think, for maybe Blackened from Injustice for All. Then you have here kind of the selling point of why I wanted to pick this up. This is Jason's audition and live at the Country Club in Reseda, California, November 8th, 1986. There you go. And then the first audition, Master of Puppets, and in Battery. And the second audition is Seek and Destroy, Creeping Death, Fight Fire with Fire, and then we've got a bunch of live songs on here. So that's going to be the first thing that I listen to, is that disc for sure. I was a huge Jason fan. I love Rob, I love Cliff, but I met Jason outside of Madison Square Garden when they played in the late 90s, and just a super amazing guy to talk to. Alright, next is Metallica live at Grugerhall, Essen, West Germany, January 25th, 87. Here's the cover. This is already with Jason on bass, obviously, in 87. Nothing tremendous jumping out other than if they were still playing Blitzkrieg at that time in their set. It's not one that they normally would play live. Metallica live interview DVDs. So we have DVD 1 live at Joe Louis Arena, and then live at Roskilde Festival in Denmark. Heavy Metal Mania from MTV. Disc 2 live at Aichi Kinru Kaiken, Nagoya, Japan, November 17th, 86. Masa Ito interview and MTV News interviews. So we'll be checking that out. And then we have riffs, demos, and outtakes from Lars and James's vaults. There's the back. And we've got 2 CDs here. So riffs, everything from multiple takes on Battery, Master of Puppets. Oh wow, Master of Puppets on here quite a few times. At least 6 times. And CD2, we've got Master of Puppets again, Damage, Leper Messiah is on here a lot, and so is Orion. Check this out. And then we also have Metallica live at the Meadowlands, East Rutherford, New Jersey, April 21st, 1986. This is live. Standard fare, this is when they were opening for Ozzy still on tour. And then you have live at the Hampton Coliseum, Hampton, Virginia, August 3rd, 1986. Almost the same set list. And then we have a cassette, which is unique. Metallica keeps pumping out these cassettes. We've got the cassette of their initial demo that went out, also the reproduction of it. But this is cool. Live in Stockholm, Sweden, September 26th, 1986. Just in case you want to listen to cassettes. And I did bring out a radio to listen to cassettes, but I think we'll probably skip that in interest of time. This is kind of like what the riffs and outtakes sound like. So the first riff, literally 16 seconds long, probably 12 seconds. very cool to hear how things were created, but maybe not for everybody. It is pretty funny to think that the stuff that they put on, like that little riff tape, was basically the same thing as like what you would do as a kid when you were playing guitar, at least back in the day, where you would record things on your tape recorder or boombox in your bedroom in light of not having a 4-tracks or things like that. So here you go, this is the quality of the DVD from Joe Louis. And what I was saying earlier, same thing. These are fan film shows. At least now they've made their way to DVD instead of video cassette. People just trade all the time, bootlegs. I'm listening to the Jason Newsted audition stuff now. It's funny, it actually sounds like there's more bass on this than there was on All Of and Justice for All. I mean, the bass is actually really prominent. So that does it for the Metallica box set. There is an awful lot of stuff in here. I can't imagine how many hours it takes to get through all of these things, but one day, maybe over Christmas break, I will get through everything. Alright, the last thing we want to talk about for Media Monday, even though it's not a Monday anymore, but maybe it's a Monday when you're watching this, is we went to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. For those that don't know, and I'm sure you probably all know, Ant-Man and the Wasp is a sequel to the original Ant-Man movie from 2015 and stars Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly. And to not make this a super long review because the movie's been out for more than a week at this point, I did like the movie. I didn't love the movie, so on a scale of I hated it, I didn't like it, I liked it, and I loved it, I would give Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I liked it. While I feel that the movie had a lot of good comic overtones to it, I felt that it was almost too much of a comedy most times and not enough of an action movie. One of the biggest knocks on these superhero movies is the fact that they don't have a very strong villain. And in this movie you have two villains, or kind of like one villain and one pseudo-villain. And the villain that you get in this movie is kind of like generic bad guy, bumbling Keystone Cops type of person. Not a very good person, other than the fact that they've kind of inserted this guy to be able to push the movie along and get some car chases going and things like that. Which, by the way, car chases to me, not very much comic booky, if that makes sense. I think they took Paul Rudd's character and kind of made it into more of a kind of like a fool, like a bumbling type of person that in the first movie I don't think you get that impression of him. I think you get a little bit more of that he's a savvy criminal type person. In this movie he really plays second fiddle to Evangeline Lilly's Wasp. So it was a little bit of an odd character turn for me. There was a lot of other things that didn't necessarily make sense to me in the movie, without getting too spoilery. You know, the way things kind of shift from small to big, or big to small, and you know, once you get into this whole thing about the quantum realm, which the movie is really solely focused on, there's things in there that don't necessarily make sense as well. The premise of the movie, of course, is that Ant-Man and Wasp want to be able to rescue Wasp's mother, who's stuck in the quantum realm. They reference that in the first Ant-Man movie, and she's been in this quantum realm for 30 years. And you know, I think the first thing that kind of jumps out at you, other than the fact that Michelle Pfeiffer is playing Janet, you know, Wasp's mother, the original Wasp, they don't really give any context as to she's been in there for 30 years. She's somehow morphed and learned these new powers along the way, and no backstory as to how she survived for 30 years. Was there food? Was there a method to be able to eat, or were there other things, etc.? Other than we just know that there's this mystical quantum realm, and the movie kind of revolves around that. So it was those types of things that kind of took away from the movie for me. I will say the first end credit scenes, there are two of them. The first one is something with some tangible information. The second one is more of a comedic cutscene. But the first cutscene is probably better, in my opinion, than the rest of the entire movie. And it really sets up, if you pay attention to the dialogue, what will happen in Infinity War 2. That's that for me. Jess really liked the movie. Mary was a little wishy-washy on it. And now we have the next movie up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is Captain Marvel. And that is next year, before we get Infinity War 2, which is already completed filming. So on that note, thank you very much for sticking around and listening to reviews on records and overviews and movies and all that good stuff. And we're going to hope to try to do this at least once a week or once every couple of weeks so we get some new stuff out to you guys, specifically around the entertainment that we're kind of feeding off of. So thanks a lot for watching. Thank you very much for all of your likes and your comments and your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.